Why is there a duck there? The AutoCraft server is now on 1.21.5, which is also known as the Spring to Life drop. And since we're now in spring, we should probably do some just spring cleaning around our area. Because, well, it's getting a little messy. We have a lot of like high crink signs, and we still have the prank from Rosie that we have to clean up too. In which I'm thinking that we're just gonna clean it up, but I don't want to get rid of it fully. Because after all, I feel like at this point, since it's kind of been here for like 6 months, this is just kind of part of the base. However, I do just want to hide it a little bit, as having a Perry the Platypus banner right there is very obvious. I want to change this up so it's just like a little tiny Easter egg where if you're walking down this area, you'll see something right here and you'll want to investigate, and well, you'll see that. But before we can do that, I should probably go ahead and clean up all these signs. Because I mean, they're everywhere. See, I don't even know where to fully look over here. Because at this point, these signs have just kind of been everywhere. Enough that I swear I thought there were more than 2. Yet maybe I've already come through here and cleaned some up. That's very possible. Because I do believe there was one in this 4 corners right here. And then I also did think that there was one over here as well. It seems that we have a gift. What do we have here? What do we got? Bundleception. See, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of bundles. And Fire, well, very much knows that. And he wants me to use bundles. And something tells me that if I just do this, yep, this is bundles inside of bundles. It's every single color. Yep, that is every single color here. Well, I think I know what to do with this. I just need this right here. And then we'll just do that, and there we go. And then we can also clean this up here. But welcome back to another episode of AutoCraft Season 5. The goal that I have for this episode is to build this shop. Because we have had this island here for multiple episodes now, and we haven't done anything with it. So later on the episode, we are going to come back over here and we're going to get to work. But of course, in order to do that, we're going to need some materials. In which specifically, I'm going to need a lot of terracotta. And if I go over to my terracotta chest, as you see, we don't have a lot. Like, this is barely going to be enough. So I just grabbed 2 shulker boxes, and I think I want to head out to the mesa and just do some grinding. Because this season, I really haven't built with terracotta that much. Which is kind of why I wanted this shop to be themed a little bit more with it. And now, I also don't really know how much terracotta we are going to need. That's kind of why I just grabbed 2 shulker boxes, because who knows, that might be enough, that might be way too much, yet that also might not be enough. I haven't taken the schematic of the shop yet. I am actually having a lot of difficulties right now trying to find the mesa. And of course, right as I say it on camera, I find it. Of course, that is just how this is going to work. And I do believe that we can just set up a basic beacon and then just set it with haste, because I think all we need is haste 1 with efficiency 5 to insta-mine terracotta, in which that is the case. So now we just get to go to town on some terracotta. While we're doing this though, I do want to talk about my plans for the rest of the season. Because after all, we are coming to the end of this world. As if for episode-wise, I plan on making at least 2 more videos after this episode. Basically, 1 more normal episode and then the finale. And in which for the finale, I do have a couple things that I want to try to do with it, but I'm not going to mention them just yet. Because after all, I don't know exactly what we're going to have time to do. And I will mention, I do already have a little bit of planning for what I want to do for next season. And must I say, I am very excited for what I have prepared. Let's just say we're going to be doing a lot more building next season than we did this season. In which we did the most amount of building that I've ever done on AutoCraft in this season. So that means we're going to be topping it even more. I actually think this beacon doesn't have good range because I'm standing right here and I am not in the range of it. And there we go. 2 shulker boxes completely filled up with terracotta, and I did have to move this beacon like 3 times just because that beacon radius is so low that it just made mining terracotta so bad. I can understand why people still use the full maxed out beacons just because they have such a wider range on them. And just like that, a simple chunk taken out of the mesa, and we are all done. And while we were mining that terracotta, I did think of a way that we can cover up Perry the Platypus, but also make him feel like he should be a part of the area. And so what I'm thinking is we grab some light gray wool and some sticks to make some light gray banners. And then also grab some signs. Actually, no, I think specifically I want pale signs. So what I'm thinking is we just put the signs here on the side, and then we can cover it up with the banner. And there we go. That does cover it up. And if you see, you can get that little sliver of what is inside, which is just going to be a little Easter egg saying, hey, you just, come in here and, you can see Perry the Platypus. So now that this is squared away, I feel like I need to change something. Every once in a while, I just kind of get the little feeling of changing. Which, one thing I've already changed is all of our bulk item storage. I put the item frames up on the top instead, as before they were all on the ground, which is just to match up with the rest of the room. I honestly don't know why I didn't do that at first. But the main part that I actually want to change with this room is the layout of the middle. It's been about the same since we built it back in October, and I feel like it just needs that little bit of change. For starters, I think I want to swap out all of these mud bricks with mud brick stairs. And then we're going to actually make the floor go down one. So this is going to take a lot of digging here. Now I'm remembering why I had the floor set up the way I did, and that was because that carpet was actually giving us a bit of light because I was hiding some frog lights underneath it. But I do already like being able to just step down, and then we'll have the floor down here. Next thing that I want to try, which I've already laid out a little bit over here, is going to be some jungle instead of the spruce. I don't know if this is going to work good, but we're going to find out. Okay, here's the jungle, and I do like how this looks. However, we do just need a little bit more to happen in here. For starters, I think I want to take out our middle pillar that we have here. I do want to add something else of the sort in here, but I want to just change up how this looks. There we go. The pole has been removed from the middle. And now I'm also remembering that I was using that pole to light up the roof a little bit as well. But that's okay. That's okay. I think I'm going to do just a little bit more work in here and just see what I come up with. And this is what I have come up with. I have dangled some lanterns from the ceiling here and put a table in the center. Now these tables now have stone cutters in the middle and anvils because I've realized those are the two workstations that I use the most often. And then I snuck in some crafting tables here and then moved the end chests to back here. The only other thing that is missing is my bed, in which I just kind of tucked it in right there because it doesn't really need to be out. And if you can see, I've added in some particles in the area as well using those new firefly bushes. So if I go into free cam here, you can probably spot one. Yeah, here was one right here. Because as long as there's a low enough light around it, it will generate the particles. Oh, and I also did raise the roof a little bit as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more detail. I do like the look of this room more now, but we now need to redirect our attention over to this island so we can start getting ready to do our build. Because I will say, this is going to be a very big build. It is going to require a lot of materials, but before we can start building it, we kind of got to get rid of this. This is his day one base. I feel really bad for destroying Fire's base here. Me destroying this base is kind of making me feel like I'm the Onceler from the Lorax and I'm just destroying Fire's area. And the worst part is to make a profit by building a shop on top of it. I did not know that these could float. And then we can just fill this on in and we are now back to a completely flat surface for building. So the layout of this shop, if I just jump into Cheaty Cam here, is basically where this dirt patch is. We are going to divide this down the center, where the left half is going to be more of a parking lot, and then the right half is going to be the shop itself. We are going to have a little bit of extra space back here, but we'll figure out something to do back there. For the shop itself, we mainly have most of the materials because green terracotta is going to be a lot of the build. But for the parking lot, we need gray concrete powder. And let's just say we need a lot because this is going to be a very big parking lot. So it's going to need a lot of pavement. So let's see what we've got in here for gray concrete powder. And we already have a really good amount here. So this is going to start us off really well. We'll just go ahead and throw that into a shulker box. And I don't think with the other concrete powders that we have in here that it'll be worth it to try and re-dye it. Luckily, at the beginning of this week, we did a live stream over on twitch.tv/MrCrank_, where we collected a bunch of materials that we'll need for concrete specifically, and as well as like some other things as well. So all of this is going to make it very easy to get all the concrete powder we need. While I'm working in the background to collect all the stuff we're going to need for the shop, we are also going to need a way to get onto this island, where we have built this road here, and all we're going to do is just extend it to make it all the way up to the island. which for it, I'm gonna grab some stone bricks and some deep slate. Well, and some concrete powder too. All right, let's start off with some support structures. I want to play with some deep slate and stone bricks together, where when the support's in the water, it's deep slate, and then when it's above, it is stone bricks, so it looks like a shadow. And here's going to be the 6 points of support. We'll have 2 small ones here, 2 medium ones there, and then 2 larger ones out there. And this should be a nice slope to be able to get up to the island, and you'd still be able to boat underneath it. Now we just need to connect these together. And for the connection points, we're going to use slabs. And here's the bridge without the pavement. It's got the supports all set up and ready, and I feel like this is going to be a bridge that, you know, is definitely going to take you across. But finally, let's get the pavement in. And there we go. Pavement is in and the bridge is done. I'm not 100% on these lines going through the road, as it's not the same over here, so these I might get rid of. So now that this is done, we can get started on the build. Because if we come back over to the storage system, I have a bunch of shulker boxes here, all filled with a ton of materials for this shop. And must I say, this is a lot. This is probably the biggest shop I have ever built. I mean, look at all these barrels and chests. That's a lot of wood on its own. So let's pick up all these shulker boxes and set them down over here. And then let's kick off with a time lapse of making this mega shop. I have made a major mistake. I forgot to light up the interior of the build while I was making it. And, well, now it's may or may not be a mob spawner. And it's not only like this room, but it's also this back room too. Here, if I just hit go on camera override here, yeah. This is pretty bad. There's a lot of mobs in here. Anyways, I'm gonna try to clear this up and get back to building here. One brand new shop completed. And I say completed loosely. The building's done, but the interior, as you see, is not fully done. We have this section over here, which is going to be the main storage room, but also where we're going to be selling the actual product. And then over here is going to be our showroom, which I don't know if I've actually said on camera what this shop is going to be, because I've known what this shop is going to be since kind of before this season even started. But this is going to be a furniture store where we are going to be selling the little decorative items. And over here being the showroom, we have the 4 different sections. First one being dining room and kitchen. This one being bedroom. And then down here for the blue section, we have decorations, and then finally living room. We'll set up so it's just some basic like furniture items, but not really the stuff we're going to be selling. This whole room is mainly just for decoration. Because like I said before, this is going to be where we're selling the product. And I've come up with a couple ideas for what we're going to sell, but I need to find it. I have a book and quill written, and it should be somewhere in my storage room. But we just need to find out which chest it's in. Ah, here it is. I don't know why it's in my box with all my empty shulkers. Okay, but in this book, these are the ideas that I've come up with so far, being item frames, paintings, flower pots, chains, bookshelves, chiseled bookshelves, and lanterns. I'm also going to try to figure out a couple other things, which actually I just came up with another thing, being the decorative pots, because those are going to be pretty easy to make. But yet also we'll probably be selling things like barrels, smithing tables, just like the things that we can use as decoration, maybe even stone cutters. So these are going to be the types of things that I want to sell in this shop. And this island isn't fully done yet either. We have a lot of dead space being like right here, that side, right here, and then the entire back is all dead space. What I want to do to fix that is put in some trees and foliage. And in part of that stream that I mentioned earlier, we were able to grab a ton of spruce leaves and oak leaves that we can use to make some trees over here, and which are probably just going to use these same trees that I've been using over here. But let's grab some leaves and get to work. With the addition of these trees, I do 100% like this so much better. And we have all this grass that I've added along the sides too, and you're not supposed to be there. I still think we can do a little bit more when it comes to the detailing. So I'm going to do a little bit more work and then come back, because I think I can do a little bit more detailing so we can break up the grass a little bit and to also add a little bit more bushes to the ground. I have added the addition of coarse dirt, brown concrete powder, and the bushes. And I've also added a couple more trees in the back because it looked a little bare. But that means that I am done with the exterior of this island. Meaning the last thing for this entire shop, well, second to last thing, is making all of this furniture. Which as of for all of this stuff, I've thought about this one in particular, and I think I'm actually going to remove kitchen, because you don't normally buy stuff for your kitchen at a furniture store, besides maybe like a fridge. But those are kind of rare when it comes to these. The other stuff being living room, decorations, bedroom, and dining room, those stuff will be easier to do. And we can do things like right over here, we can just set up a little table, and then also with the addition of some chairs as well, which I'm realizing this needs to be moved over. And then something like this, we got 2 chairs, we have 2 benches as well, and this already takes up like a good maybe third of this area. And then of course we can just throw in some other designs for some chairs, just as say, oh, I want this table, but not this chair, and I want this chair instead. And here we go. Here's an example of what I've got for a dining room setup. We've got some iron pressure plates down as some plates, different various carpets, some different types of chairs and tables. This is the kind of look that I'm going for. So let's replicate this with the 3 other spots. And all right, all 4 quadrants have been finished. So we have the dining room section over here like we did before with the tables and chairs. We've got the bedroom section over here where I've added 2 beds, a little bedside table, a bunk bed, and what can be like kind of like a wardrobe. We've got the living room section over here where we have some lamps, some speakers, a little tiny couch, a little bit of a bigger couch, a TV stand that we have to make sure we say not real TV, and then we also have a fireplace here as well. And then finally over here we have the decorations area where we have a little table with some flower pots, some candles, some bookshelves, these little tiny mushroom lights, some more bookshelves, and we also have this lattice over here as well. So with all the furniture in, that means the interior of the shop is completed, and all we have left to do is stock it. So let me get some areas set up here. I'm thinking we're just gonna like dedicate one little area for a specific item and then load up the chests and barrels around it. My list is now empty, and that is because everything that I have wanted to stock is now in here. I've placed item frames with the item here so you can see exactly what we are selling in this spot, along with the price. And this goes all the way around. We got the chests, we got the barrels, we got the composters. Like I said, everything is here. But now that this is all done, we can officially notify all the AutoCrafters that this shop is open. This shop has taken me a lot of time to design and figure out exactly what I want the build to look like. And I must say, I'm very glad that this is done. And I'm also glad that we don't have a blank canvas for an island anymore. Now, if you look at this whole area, it looks like one big finished project. But I think that is going to have to go ahead and end off this episode here. I apologize for the break between the past 2 episodes, but that is because I've been working on something else behind the scenes, which you will see that very soon. But I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good day or night or whatever it is right now. And I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.